Excited for today's little session. Going to, I think, be fun for some folks. Glad you could make it today. Let's go ahead and get my screen share going here. Today, we are going to go through and build a e-commerce store, a micro e-commerce store from scratch. We'll see how far we get today and then potentially extend that into another meeting. But the goal here would be to let people build an e-commerce store without having to go out and learn how to use a theme somewhere or anything like that. It can kind of just be the store is built and we move on from there and start selling products. So kind of neat in that regard. Welcome, Sierra. Glad you can make it.
Thanks, Courtney. Hi.
Hello.
One quick question, Courtney. Have you built any Chrome extensions?
Yeah,
Is it relatively easy? You like using vibe coding?
it is. I recommend doing a Chrome extension in a local build app, not trying to get Replit or Bolt or something like that to build it for you, because you need to oftentimes have a backend service that you deploy separately from the extension. And getting one of the web builders to properly structure that it can be problematic. They don't always listen to or understand the prompt. But if you use something like Kilo Code or Windsurf or Cursor and tell it, I need this backend service and I need the extension to go with it, and here's how they're going to link up, give it the idea, then it'll build them separately. So you can download the plugin, you can export the plugin folder and use that in Chrome, and then deploy your backend service to whatever deployment site you're putting it on.
Because an extension that I've been using extensively for the last couple of years has been deprecated, and I'm gutted because it was such a good extension.
And
It would snooze your tabs. Yeah, I don't know about you. I always have a million tabs open. And you could choose if you wanted to snooze it for an hour, for 5 hours, for a day, for a week, for a month. And it was so cool. And I've been using it for about the last 4 years, and now it's been deprecated and I can't use it anymore.
Interesting. Yeah, I think you should give the description of the extension to Cursor or Windsurf or whatever, and try to build it. See if it could work. That may not need a backend service. That may just be an operation inside Chrome. We're going to use VO or V0.dev for this because I haven't shown that on any of the calls, I don't believe. It does a really good job with front end stuff. It just looks really clean and sleek and modern. It's different than Lovable and Bolt in the way it develops the front end. We're going to see how that looks. I have the PRD tool up here. Most of the folks that are here today have seen that, but if somebody's watching this on YouTube, this prd.opeachy.ai lets you create your PRD for your builds here. So it's going to be a really simple e-commerce store. I've defined that it's going to use Postgres, and that we're going to have a few pages. And then there's one thing I want to add to this so that it has some guidance. We're going to say here that we want make demo content for ultra fast phone charger as an initial product. That way it has some idea of what content it's going to be scoping out. We're just going to drop this into the PRD tool and send that on its way. There we are. And then we're going to drop the PRD into V0 shortly. While that's building, we're going to take a look at Kiro. This just came out a day or two ago from Amazon. Tony, you were talking about new tools coming out all the time. This one's cool because it is a local IDE, similar to, it would play in the same sandbox as Cursor and Windsurf. I have done a small amount of playing with it, and it has some really unique features that I think are good in concept. And I haven't had enough time testing them to see if they're good in practice, but we'll play with that a little bit too, and just go through those features a little bit while this builds. Okay, so we have our PRD here. So it has outlined what we plan to build. I want to see here if it included the product. It did not. I'm not terribly surprised here given the rules of the PRD tool. So did it have it here? Oh, here it is. Ultra fast phone charger. It did. Okay. Just a very tiny snippet of it. We're going to put that into Vercel and send it on its way. Now it's thinking about the build and what we're going to do there. And this will build pretty quick because Vercel is just going to build a front end. Not going to build a database or anything like that for us. The front end seems to be fairly neat and clean. That's what we want here. While that is loading, we're going to pull up Kiro. This is the new dev tool from Amazon. It still uses what do you call it? It still uses the Claude coding tools. That's what we're going to be seeing happen in here. We are going to open a folder. I don't have a GitHub repo here, but I pulled up a version of this store in Kiro. So I'm going to give you a quick little tour in Kiro here, and then we're going to actually copy this store we're building over into here to work with it on desktop so we can connect all the features. But what is interesting here is that it has this specs capability. You can give it your idea, kind of like the PRD tool, and then just talk with it, and it will build out a spec sheet, then a task sheet, then go on to actually execute those tasks if you want while you're building. It seems to over-engineer in the one test that I've done with it, because this tool just came out yesterday. It seems to over-engineer the tasks. I think you need to clean it up a little bit, but you have access to the MD files. That's going to be nice and easy to do if you read the files. But that's what we're going to be playing with here. Now let's take a look at our micro e-commerce store. Here's what's going on in the background. This is similar. This V0 is similar in layout to Bolt and Lovable if you've used either of those tools before. So that's what it's going to look like. We have our GitHub capability here. We're going to open this and say simple ecom 1. I guess it's not ready enough yet. It doesn't have enough of the code generated for us to do that. So we'll give that a second to connect up. That's how we're going to get it down to the local computer. And then we are going to, when we deploy this, we are going to deploy it on Railway. This is great because we can deploy a new project. I'm going to deploy an empty project here just to show you how this can be set up. So this is basically an empty container that we're going to deploy this into. And this will be where we run it. So it's basically the web hosting, but we can have a database. We can upload a Docker image if we want that contains everything. We can have an empty service, or if you deploy from a repo, which is what we'll be doing to start with here, it will basically deploy the hosting service that we'll be using, and it will build it from the files that are being constructed over here by the AI. So that's where we're going to deploy that into. While that is running, I want to share a tool with you all. Let me go get it out of Windsurf. We've done a few sessions on MCP servers, and there was one that I wanted myself, and I could not find a good one. I tested a few that were supposed to be able to do this feature, and they did not work. So I built one for myself, and I'm going to paste this in the chat. So for those of you that are into trying PRDs after our last few calls, this is a tool that I built, and you can use it. What do we have here? Looks like it did not complete it entirely. We'll just tell it to fix that. So I just posted this in here. This is what you paste into the MCP for whatever tool you're using. So if you see that in the chat, it just goes in here like any of your other MPC servers, and it's hosted on NPM. So you can instantly download it just by using this. And what it does is it has all of these tools that I built out, and it basically gives your AI the ability to see your databases. So it can actually read the database and say, hey, this is what's in here. This is the exact schema. rather than guessing. Or a lot of times when I'm working on an application, I've received the application from someone and I don't know exactly what was built in the schema. A lot of times the schema files are not up to date when they were built. This allows me to see exactly what's in the database and take actions in the AI based on that. And it is a extremely powerful little tool for that. You have to have your database URL in your .env or .env or .env.local here in your build tool to use it. And then it just pulls that URL and is able to query and look at the database for anything that you want. Put that on your list. It will speed up your development a lot. Here is our micro store. We'll open this in a new tab. So this is the front end we got. Very, very simple micro e-commerce store. We have a shop page. No images right now. That's fine. Wouldn't expect any images to be there. And it looks like add to cart is not built. We do have a cart. Oh, maybe it's working. Oh, it is working. It's just not sending any sort of toast notification or anything like that. We have our about page. We have our contact page. Okay. We don't necessarily have a way to view the products in detail. Looks like that needs to be built out. Then, as some of you have seen before, we're going to pop over here and ask it what's built and what's not, because it told us it has a bunch of stuff here and not all of that is functional. Let's see here. Please tell me what is built, what is stubbed out, and what is not built. We're going to get a list from the AI of what's sitting here undone. And it looks like I have one use of their tool today left before I upgrade my plan, but this should get us to where we need to be with one remaining question. So this is what is, none of this is built out, right? This is the thing you see with AI coding tools all the time, is they build something out on the front end and never build out the back end when when you structure something to begin with. I see a question in the chat. Will the spec create tasks based on the PRD? Yes, it will. Just for example, let me show you how that looks from the start, because it's actually really cool. It's a different version of PRD creation or PRD extension. I'm going to make a repository that we can throw this in. So I have GitHub up on another screen. We're going to create that repository, publish it. I'm going to open that repository in Kiro. And we're going to window, open a project, GitHub, dummy repo, and tell it, okay. All right, so this is just a blank GitHub repository that we're in. And we can give it the same PRD that we have here. We'll go up into specs, give it this, and hit enter. And it automatically starts a spec for this. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more videos like this, please like and follow. And if you need help building or finishing your app, click the link in my bio to book a one-on-one Zoom call to take a look at your project.